Unseen shadows. The glass shattered against a hardwood floor, a jagged scream of crystal that drowned out the soft jazz drifting from the living room speakers. My hand trembled, red wine pooling like blood around the shards, staining the rug we'd picked out together at that flea market last summer. Ethan's laugh froze mid-breath, his phone slipping from his fingers to the couch. "Lila, what the hell?" he snapped, but his eyes darted to the screen, a flicker of guilt I'd seen too many times before. I hadn't meant to drop the glass. I'd only wanted to see the message that made him smile like that, soft, secretive, the kind of smile he hadn't given me in months. The phone's glow had caught my eye from across the room, a beacon in the dim light of our apartment, where the air smelled of rosemary from the half-cooked dinner I'd abandoned. I'd asked casual as I could manage, "Who's that?" He'd said, "Just work," but his thumb swiped the screen away too fast, like a child hiding a stolen cookie. Now, standing in the wreckage of the glass, my chest tightened with a cocktail of dread and defiance. "Show me," I said, voice low, the words tasting bitter. Ethan's jaw clenched, his hazel eyes narrowing, but he didn't move. The silence stretched, heavy as the August humidity seeping to the cracked window. I took a step closer, the floor cold against my bare feet, the wine-sharp tang stinging my nose. "Ethan, show me the phone." He stood, towering over me, his broad shoulders filling the space between us. "You're being ridiculous," he said, but his voice cracked, a hairline fracture in his usual calm. He grabbed the phone, clutching it like a lifeline. I lunged, surprising even myself, my fingers grazing the cool metal before he yanked it back. "Lila, stop it," he shouted, and the raw edge in his voice sliced through my resolve. Was I the crazy one? Was this just me? Spiraling again, seeing shadows where there was only light? But I'd seen the signs. The late nights at the office that smelled more of perfume than printer ink. The way he'd started locking his phone, when he used to leave it face up on the counter. The whispered calls he took in the hallway, his voice muffled but urgent, always ending with a hurried, "Gotta go." I'd rationalized it all, work stress, maybe, or planning a surprise for our anniversary. I clung to those lies because the truth felt like a blade poised over my heart. "Ethan," I said, softer now, pleading, "if it's nothing, just show me." My voice trembled, betraying the tears I was fighting. He hesitated, his fingers twitching on the phone, and for a moment I thought he might. But then he turned away, shoulders slumping, and muttered, "This is insane. I'm not doing this." He walked toward the bedroom, leaving me in a wreckage of glass and wine, my pulse hammering in my ears. I followed, the apartment blurring around me, the creak of the floorboards, the faint hum of the fridge, the distant wail of a siren outside. I grabbed his arm, my nails digging into his skin. "Who is she?" The question burst out, raw and ugly, tearing through the quiet. He froze, his back to me, and the silence that followed was louder than any confession. My stomach churned, acid rising in my throat. I wanted him to laugh, to call me paranoid, to pull me into his arms and make it all disappear. But he didn't. Instead, he turned, his face pale, eyes glistening with something that looked like shame. "It's not what you think," he started, but the words crumbled under the weight of his expression. I snatched the phone from his hand, my fingers fumbling to unlock it. The screen lit up, and there it was, a thread of messages, dozens of them, with a name I didn't recognize, Claire. Heart emojis, late-night texts, a photo of her laughing in a park we used to walk through together. Each word was a punch, stealing my breath, until I couldn't tell if I was drowning or burning. "Lila, I didn't mean for it to happen," Ethan said, his voice small, almost childlike. "It was just talking at first, I swear." But his excuses faded into the roar in my head. I scrolled further, each message a fresh cut. Plans to meet, inside jokes, promises of soon. The betrayal wasn't just her. It was him, choosing her, piece by piece, while I'd been here, cooking dinners, planning futures, loving him. I dropped the phone, my knees buckling. The room spun, the walls closing in, the air thick with the scent of betrayal. "How long?" I whispered, my voice barely audible. He didn't answer, but his silence screamed 6 months, maybe more. I thought of every moment I doubted myself, Every night I'd lain awake wondering why he felt so far away. The truth was worse than the suspicion. It was a mirror, showing me the fool I'd been. I stood, shaking, and walked to the door, my bare feet crunching on the broken glass. The pain was sharp, grounding, a reminder I was still here. Lila, wait. Ethan called, but I didn't turn back. I stepped into the hallway, the cold concrete biting my soles, and kept walking, each step heavier with the weight of what I'd lost and what I'd found. The door clicked shut behind me, and in that final sound, I heard the end of us. But as I reached the elevator, my phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from an unknown number. He doesn't deserve you. Meet me. I'll tell you everything.